Learned helplessness is the main cause of all troubles in personal life. And learned helplessness is something that we've been programmed into us since childhood, that this is all I am, this is who I am, this is how I am, without looking at a bigger picture and saying that I am learnable. Yesterday, I was talking to my mentor from USA, Mr. Robert Amodi, and he's 66 years old. And he said, my daughter sitting beside a hockey game, watching hockey together and explaining all of these moves to his daughter. And his daughter turned around and says, wow, Dad, you are so learnable. The question is, are you learnable? I'm Arif Gilany, the founder of Camel Care Naga brand in Riyadh, Saudi. I am also an ambassador of hope with Aurum Foundation, the new online banking system that is taking the world by a storm. Momentarily, I will take you to a training of our top trainer, Mr. Shane Morand, who is an international global sensation. He will be able to explain all of the details of how to contact customers and why to contact customers and who are your customers. I personally started on August 11th of 2025 with an investment of $100. No, this is not a scam. $130 worth of socks sold. We put the money into an investment account with Aurum Neobank, and now it's changed my whole family's life. Not my personal, my kids, of course, have their own accounts, but my bigger family's lives. My family in Australia, my cousin, whom I wanted to thank for opening an account and putting thousands of dollars based on the trust that we have. Also, my dear family and friends in Iran, who just based on the trust that we have opened their own accounts with Aurum Neobank and now are reaping the benefits of the courage to take action. Why? Because these are learnable people. They like to learn. I also wanted to thank my family in Istanbul for trusting me with opening up their own accounts. My family also in Sweden, my sisters, and some of other cousins and collaborators and friends and fans who have taken on this mission to another level, because now we're global. Somebody asked me in Turkey, in Istanbul, says, if I were to ask you where you're from, what would be your answer? And I thought about it for a second because there's a lot of places I could be from. And he said, let me not stress you out. I'll give you the answer. And I said, yes, sir. And he says, you introduce yourself as, I am from the Gilani family. Why? We're global, borderless people who've taken the task of leadership into helping those who are unaware of the facts of life to be enlightened for over 7 centuries. That's what my ancestors did. And now we're taking it into online world and teaching people how to make money and how to live healthier lives and how to organize their relationships. And we have mentors. We are learnable because we are learning machines. Every single day you can learn one line, one sentence, one phrase that's totally going to change your mindset and your life. Only if you're learnable. Momentarily, Shane Moran will share with us, with all of us, how he built a business from zero to $5 billion in 5 years. That's the type of mentorship mindset and opportunity that we're talking about. There are multiple ways to collaborate with us. This room will be opened as our office online Mondays to Thursdays, 11:30. That's first session, 11:30. We have a fine presentation. We'll share the information and our research with you. You make your own decisions. We're not here to sell you anything. We're here to enlighten you on new ways that you can live a healthier, happier life And this is not a script. This is not ready. This is me talking to my family, my sister, my nephew, my cousins, all of you who are out in the YouTube channel that have subscribed. And if you haven't subscribed, I would hit that subscribe button right now. We have grown with friends and family. Over 3,500 people enjoy the benefit of my research, all of the information, technology, things that I bring to my friends and family. And you, as a collective community, have become my friends and my family. Did you know that over 51% of all of the things that you consume online, all of those ads on Instagram and Facebook and places like this and social media, LinkedIn, 51% of them are AI generated? All of the ads that you see, let's say you like a nice razor shaver, you click on that, and next you see you bombarded with these messages from such companies. The information technology has changed the world like no other, and AI was just the fuel on the fire. In the other side of the world, that I just came back after 4 months of research in Middle East and Europe and Far East, robotics and AI is taking over production. By year 2030, over 30% of all jobs globally will be lost to AI or AI operators. Now, what is AI and how does it run? That's another topic we discuss in our trainings. That's on Mondays to Thursdays at 11:30, at 2:30 p.m. Toronto local time, and it's 7:30 p.m. local time for all of you who work full time. This is an opportunity to carve out some of that hours that you have in that 24-hour box. 8 hours is for sleep, 8 hours is for work, even if you're self-employed or you work from home. And that 8 hour, the third 8 hours, really the magic. That's what happens. You could watch TV, you could relax, you could watch the hockey game, or you could learn and develop some skills that will pay you forever and ever. And that's the type of discipline and training that we have with this company. I am going to take myself out of this, share the screen, and go to Shane Morand. We have technology on our side, and we'll be preparing all of the social platforms, including Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube channel that by miracle I opened a few years back, and now it's given us the opportunity to reach out global audiences. So allow me to go on Shane Morand's presentation and see what's happening here. Stay with me till end of this video, and if you like to open an account for yourself, for your family, and for your loved ones with Aurum Foundation, you can contact me. We have the open room, and the benefits and disadvantages and all of that will be explained to you in a manner that you have never seen before, with trust, with integrity, and with honesty. Schedule 3 p.m. That should be the time for actually Middle East, for Dubai right now. Yes, it should be momentarily opening up. With that, I wanted to leave you with this. If you were to close your eyes and didn't know how old you were, how old would you think you are? Friends, age is just a number. It's how you feel. If we were to chop off a head from the body, now that's gruesome, but that's happened in places that I have been, and you wouldn't know how old you are, because it's the body and the mind, the connection, that really makes you feel the way you are. And in our course, we talk about all of this, and we talk about it 3 times a day, and we talk about it at 11:30, and we talk about it at 2:30 p.m., and we talk about it at 7:30 p.m., where you do most of the talking and I do most of the listening. There's a short presentation we show you, then we converse and we answer all of your questions. You may have questions about the flexibility of our program. You may have uh, questions about the setup of our basically programs and accounts. You may have questions about the security. You may have questions about the transparency, the flexibility, the whole lot of shazam that goes into a business as such as this. But we learn from the best, and we convey the message as it's conveyed to us, as it's basically done by top people in the world. Right now, Mr. Brian Benson is in Satoshi and given a session about this whole world of money to top 300. Imagine he's one of the top 300 people in the world as far as money and finance goes. And I'm learning directly from this gentleman called Brian Benson. Now, another gentleman that I'm learning from is exactly, I'm going to see if this was the right link, or maybe I'm even on other link and I've gotten busy talking to our audience here and I forgot the right link. Let me go to Robert D'Souza's link and I go there and I see this here and I see it's Zoom link and it's taking me right to the Zoom link. So welcome and enjoy Mr. Shane Morand, and we will talk after this. I'm going to have an opportunity for you should you decide to join us. Connecting, and here's the age of AI. Again, just checking my systems to make sure this recording is done properly. We're sharing the screen. I'm at 11 minutes, interpreter in many languages. In progress. Welcome and enjoy this interpreted presentation by Mr. Shane Morand. I will be taking some notes. When you watch it, whether at home or anywhere else, I recommend that you do take some notes and answer all of your questions. So they're just...
All right, everyone. Welcome to Zone 1. Welcome to Zone 1. Come on, let us know where you're calling in from. What country are you calling in from? We have... let's see how fast we can go. Netherlands and Germany is in the house. Toronto, Canada, Germany, Thailand, Los Angeles, Dubai. Way too fast. Slovakia, UK, Croatia, Argentina. It's just going way too fast. Sorry if I missed your country. Wow. Lebanon, Italy, Hamburg, India, South Africa, New Zealand, Switzerland, Ukraine, Nigeria, Czech, Latvia, Portugal. Wow. Welcome. We also have this call being translated in many languages. If English is not your language, just click on translations there. Just hit the little translation button and you'll see, the various languages that this is being translated in. I'm going to try to slow it down a little bit for the benefit of our translators. Welcome, USA. Welcome, Germany. Welcome. We're going to get started here in 1 minute. Just let everybody pile in here. Canada in the house. Brazil. Welcome, Brazil. Welcome. Nigeria. Who else do we have here? It's going way too fast. Welcome, everyone. Well, Spain, California, India, Saudi in the house. Greece. Welcome, Greece. Netherlands in the house. Welcome. Sweden, Belgium, Thailand, South Africa. Welcome. Sudan, welcome to the call. Welcome to Zone 1. Zone 1. You know what that means, right? Money's coming, baby. Yeah, Zone 1 is where all the money is. Welcome to our partners all over the world. Let's get started. So hello and good morning or good afternoon or good evening to all of our Aurum Foundation partners worldwide. And whether you're calling in from, whether it is whatever part of the world you're calling in from, some are getting up early in the morning and some are staying up late at night to be on this call. I'm really honored that you've decided to join the Zone 1 call and to have the privilege really to working with a couple geniuses here, and Ahmad Zen and also Brian Benson, and the entire corporate team at the Aurum Foundation. I just want to start off by saying really how amazing it's been to see so much. This is important to our partners. So much credibility. I hope you've noticed this. So much credibility is coming to Aurum Foundation with the Forbes magazine articles twice, with the Forbes Crypto Advisory and Brian Benson on that advisory. That's called a clue. The Entrepreneurs Magazine article recently, again, this is all recent, top 10 crypto companies to invest in. Aurum is on the top 10 crypto company. Where did that come from? It's amazing. And of course, with Brian Benson speaking on all the largest crypto stages in the world about AI finance. And again, if you have a pen and a piece of paper, this is something you want to write down in any language. AI finance. I'm going to be talking a little bit about that tonight and today, or this morning, or this evening, wherever you're in from. And so AI finance, right? Write that down. You know, if you and I haven't met before, I'm just going to take a minute here to briefly do a quick introduction. What a great video. I was on earlier, and I don't know if you get onto these calls a little early, you're going to see all the videos that they're playing as the meeting is preparing to start. It's just amazing. And it gets me fired up. I'm really fired up now to do this call because you just have to see the evidence. You know, I've worked with some of the top mentors, coaches, teachers, speakers in the world, people like Anthony Robbins, Brian Tracy, Mark Victor Hansen, you know, just to name a few. And back in 2008, I co-founded a marketing concept in Canada. That's where I'm from. I'm from Canada. And starting from zero with an idea, we took sales from that zero customers, zero distributors, without any investors. You know, I helped build a global brand to over 1 billion, spelled with a B, 1 billion in combined sales within a 5-year period, impacting over 2.2 million families in 55 countries, and helped create many, many new millionaires in that process. And 10 years later, in 2018, I helped give birth to a global monetary system based on gold and silver. And a few months back, that same system generated $1.4 billion in transactions in a single day. And, you know, when I found out about the Aurum Foundation and this whole project of AI finance, remember that, you know, this whole project, and learned about the vision. And we'll be talking about that today, about the vision. I conducted over 3 months of due diligence myself. I came to the conclusion that Aurum Foundation is one of those rare opportunities that comes along, I would say, every 15 years or so. And in my personal opinion, I believe that Aurum is positioned perfectly and has all the ingredients to become one of the first multi-billion-dollar giants in the AI finance sector. All right, in the AI finance sector. This is a sector that Brian Benson and the Aurum Foundation is really creating. Right now, very few people have heard of AI finance, but as Brian said, give it a year, give it 18 months, everyone's going to know what AI finance is, and Aurum Foundation is leading that pack, is leading that drive, is leading that into that blue ocean space. It's just amazing. So let me tell you a little bit now about the weekly Aurum Zone 1 call and its purpose. So this is the call. It's happening every week at this time. This is a weekly call. It's really for Aurum partners. You know, whether you're brand new and just getting started, or those who have already built large organizations during the pre-launch, just remember, at this point, right here, right now, Aurum is officially really only 3 weeks old officially, because the launch of Aurum Foundation was January 17th, 2026. So if you're here now, you're amongst the first in the world learning about Aurum. And congratulations, number one. This is pretty exciting. Whether you're a professional networker or you have zero experience, you know, it really doesn't matter because if you're an Aurum partner, this is the weekly call that, again, it's not to give you an introduction on what Aurum is. You know, we have other speakers every single week in multiple languages that will introduce a guest to Aurum. We're not going to be talking here about the compensation plan. We're not going to be talking about the amazing breakthroughs in technology that Brian Benson has either already built or he's building behind the scenes. You're going to see something tonight I'm going to show you. I think you're going to be very, very excited. This weekly call is really to answer the most important question that Aurum partners have, and that is, how can partners earn the most amount of money? Where do you find the money? How do partners generate revenue? Where is it? What are the actions that need to be taken? And, you know, again, we want to create a global unified concept that every single partner in every language, no matter where you live, and there's a lot of people on this call right now from all over the world, from every part of the world, all four corners of the world right here. But how can you build your organization bigger, better, faster, and stronger. All right. That's what this call. That's what Zone One is all about. That's what we're going to be talking about from week to week. So where's all the money in Aurum? And all the money's in Zone One. That's where it is. No matter what language, again, no matter what part of the world you live in, the money is in Zone One. So if you're ready to get started here on tonight's presentation, again, if English isn't your primary language, just click into the translator. You'll get hopefully your choice is there. Now, if your language is not being represented and you have a translator that can translate from English to another language, just reach out. Yes, and someone said they're from Hungary. We have a Hungarian translator right now. All right, we have a Hungarian. So if you're from Hungary, click there, and we do have a translator from Hungary. So with that, let's begin our presentation. And again, I'm excited to share with you Zone One. This is, again, where all the money is. What we're doing here is we are in search of 1,000 new millionaires. I'll go over the vision and the mission of Aurum. Here's the vision, and everyone needs to memorize this, right? We want to memorize this vision. This is not changing. This is Aurum's vision, and this is your vision. It should be your vision too, is to create 1,000 new millionaires. All right, simple and easy, and anybody can understand that. How long will it take you to learn the Aurum vision, right? To create 1,000 new millionaires. What's the vision? To create 1,000 new millionaires, right? Practice that, and now you'll have the vision. So when you're introducing people, you can talk about Aurum's vision is to create 1,000 new millionaires. Now the mission is different. You know, the mission is to find 1,000 volunteers who are hungry and teachable, who want to become the next Aurum millionaires. Already in pre-launch, Aurum has generated generated millionaires, several millionaires already. And the company, remember we just said, they just had the official launch in Dubai 3 weeks ago. All right. And if you, I don't know, I hope I'm not the only one excited about this, but that is the mission. And now, what do I mean? This is very, very important. What do I mean by hungry and teachable? I'm not talking about the country hungry. We're talking about, are you hungry for more? You know, what I found is with these two combinations, if you show me someone that's hungry, they want more out of life, they're sick and tired of being sick and tired, and they've had enough, right? And they want to just maybe provide a better future for their family, send their kids to a better school, or maybe take a vacation, and they just want to do whatever it is that they got to do, but they just need to know how, but they're hungry. Number two, you need to be teachable. You know, can you follow a few simple steps, easy and simple steps? You need to be teachable. If any one of these two is missing, it's very highly unlikable that you're going to make it in this industry. I've just seen it over and over and over. But if you've got these two, if you say, yes, I'm hungry, you know, just show me what to do, and you're teachable, meaning that you can follow simple instructions, then you've got what it takes to become one of those next Aurum millionaires, right? Hungry and teachable. I want to start off here by talking about Robert Kiyosaki. If you haven't read the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, here's the quadrant, and this is kind of the highlight of the book, is that there's really 4 quadrants, and people find themselves in one of the 4 quadrants. Well, let's start off with employees. Most of the people, I would say more than 90% of the population, is an employee. What they're doing is they're trading their time for money, right? You go to work, you give them your time, and they give you money, you know. And typically when you have a job, you're going to work as hard as you have to so they don't fire you, and they're only going to pay you just enough so that you don't quit, right? But that's a job, and you know, that's where we start. Our goal is to move from the left side of the quadrant over to the right side of the quadrant. But let's say employees, the good thing about an employee, you've got a steady you've got an income coming in. Hopefully you're paying the bills and so on. So that's where the majority is. The next level really is when you become self-employed, right? Self-employed is when you own your job. You are the owner of your job, right? It doesn't mean you're not going to work as hard. As a matter of fact, if you're self-employed, you're probably going to work a lot harder, right? For probably a lot less money as you roll and get started in your own, self-employment, right? And so there's self-employment. There's a lot of challenges with self-employment. For example, like if you're a real estate broker, and so you've developed this broker and you start training and teaching, your agents as you're self-employed now. What typically happens is that you train and work hard on training people, and what happens? They become the best ones of the best that you've trained and that you worked with. They started from nothing and you brought them up. They leave and they go set up shop right across the street from you and they become your competition, right? And you know what I'm talking about if you're self-employed. Let's move over to the business side and why I'm so excited about the Aurum Foundation and the opportunity here for many, many reasons. But as it relates to Robert Kiyosaki's quadrant here, a business owner is when you own a system and the people are working for you, right? That's typically if a company has, for example, call it 300 employees. 300 employees, that's a big company. Now you've got a system, and so the owner of that company can step out and go on vacation, and the company still runs without the owner. That's kind of the ultimate on the business side. What I love about Aurum is that I figured out that if you have and develop a network from you talking to a few people, who talk to a few people, who know a few people, who have a few friends, and so on, just like that, if you can develop your Aurum network into a group of about 300 to 500 people. I don't mean three, I mean 300 to 500. So when your group gets into 300 to 500 range, you're in that category of a business owner, because now with 300 to 500 active partners, you can step out and go on vacation. It's not going to affect your paycheck. It's not really going to affect the income that you're receiving. At that point, you can't stop the income from coming every day, every week, every month, every year to your account. All right. Again, I hope I'm not the only one excited, but Aurum is offering really people to get involved in a brand new category, which is AI finance, right? And it's a beautiful thing to be amongst the first in the world to be looking into AI finance, to be participating in AI finance, and to be creating the whole model for AI finance. And finally, this is the ultimate, right? The ultimate is the I, and it's the goal. And I read the book maybe 20 years ago, and I've read it many, many times, but this is the tricky part here. The investor is when your money is working for you. You see, when you have a job, you're working for money, but when you are an investor, you get your money working for you. And here's the punchline on all of this. Aurum is offering both for you to become a business owner, a big business owner, as you develop your group, but also the product, our flagship product, which is the XAI bot. The flagship product allows the customer to have their crypto working for them, not once in a while, but every single day, 100%. Listen to this. 100% of every single Aurum customer worldwide who has activated their XAI bot is earning an ROI every single day. Did you hear that? You might want to write that one down too. No matter the amount that they deposited, 100% of every customer who is deposited into the XAI bot is earning an ROI every single day. Again, this is our core product. We're going right to the fourth part of the quadrant, which is really exciting. And for those that are, of course, on this call, you are all partners, and you're playing now on the on the right-hand side here with the B and the I. That's exactly where you want to be. It's exactly where you want to be for long-term growth. I hope that makes sense, and I hope that's a little bit inspiring for everyone. Now, what I want to do is talk about the big business model, because we're gonna go to $1 billion concept in a second. But I want you to see the big picture. This is just the beginning. You know, you can access the entire Aurum ecosystem. You know, for a year, you get access to the whole ecosystem. Now, I'm going to show you a little bit about the ecosystem here, but this is just the beginning, right? We've got the Aurum Visa cards, and we've got many more Visa products coming on. We've got the Aurum Exchange that is about to go live, and that exchange, the CEO of the exchange has announced, and I'm going to say it over and over again because it's so unbelievable. What that CEO of the Aurum Exchange has said is that he's going to share 50% of the fees that are generated on that exchange with our partners. That's incredible. All right. Let me say that one more time. He said that he's sharing 50%, 50% of all of the revenue generated by the Aurum Exchange back to the partners. All right. If you can't get excited about that, that is just about to go live. We're going to have more news on that as we're coming up here, but that's part of the ecosystem. The XAI bot, you can see there is like I call it the flagship product. There's many bots that you could learn about, but I'll talk about the XAI bot in particular today. Then you've got the Neobank that's all included there. You've got the RWA that was just announced. RWA, what does that mean? It means real world assets. Now we can tokenize, for example, building developments, right? Building developments, we can tokenize it. So now our customers can earn a percentage of that whole development. Even if they only have a little bit to deposit, they can still earn on that project. Or gold, for example, man, look what's happening with gold. It's going up and down, but mostly up, mostly up. And imagine, you know, what is it? It's what, $5,200 an ounce. Well, maybe someone doesn't have $5,200, but they want to own a piece of gold, and they have a little bit. We can tokenize that gold. And another big announcement is that Aurum Foundation, through the RWA, is getting involved in the data centers. All right, these massive data centers. They just can't keep up. The demand is so high worldwide with the data centers. You are now going to be able to own a piece, not only of the data center, but of the revenues generated by each data center. All right. So this is the big business model that I wanted to show you today. And you know, you don't have to memorize, especially if you're a brand new partner. There's no need to memorize all of this. There's no need, and I'm going to show you why. I want to talk about $1 billion concept with you. When I first started using this concept back in 2008, it was 18 months later in 2010 that I started speaking about what we were doing, like what I was doing and what we were creating. That all of a sudden I said, you know, at the time I thought it was like $100,000 concept for everyone. Hey, how about $100,000 concept, right? And then as we progressed and started using the concept over and over, and as it started to unify throughout different countries in the world, and different leaders said, hey, this is good, we want to use this concept. All of a sudden I said, no, it's not $100,000 concept. It's a $1 million concept. All right. And I believe that. But today, no. This is a $1 billion concept that I'm going to share with you. It doesn't mean it's complicated. You know, it doesn't mean it's complicated. But if you have a pen and you want to write this down, if you've seen this before, you want to write it down, and you want to not only understand what we're talking about here, but you want to apply it to your growth. You know, as you're growing your business, as you're doing things within your business, follow this concept and watch what happens. So the concept is this: create a few simple actions that can be duplicated by a large group of people over a consistent period of time. All right, I'll go slow for the translators, but it's important that we get this exactly precise. We want to create a few simple actions that can be duplicated by a large group of people over a consistent period of time. All right, this is the formula that I want to encourage all the partners in everywhere in the world to adopt as you're presenting, as you're explaining, as you're talking, as you're introducing. If it's complicated, if you get into the complicated part of the Aurum Foundation, people are going to think you're smart, all right? But they're not going to join, all right? They're not going to join you because they're thinking, man, I could never be that smart. I could never understand what the heck that person just said, right? So we want to keep it simple so that every single person can understand what we're trying to accomplish and can at least get started, can at least enter the ecosystem. Once the person's in the ecosystem, then slowly they can learn about all the different, big business model that has been put together. It's just amazing, as you saw a few slides ago. All right. So that's the concept that we want to share with everyone. And the next concept is, of course, the zone one. That's the purpose of this call. This is where all the money is in zone one. And this is the concept that I want to encourage every single leader out there to be talking about zone one. When you see someone doing this, it doesn't mean we're number one. It doesn't mean, it just means we're in zone one. We understand what zone one means, and we understand that zone one is where all the money is, right? You can go like this, take a picture and yee-hoo. It doesn't mean, again, that we're number one. It means that we understand the concept of zone one, and that's because that's where all the money is. But before I go into the details of zone one for everyone, let's talk about zone two. There's 4 zones, by the way. There's 4 zones. Zone 2 is when you are managing partners. So you're managing partners that are in zone 1. That's called being in zone 2. And there's just not that much money doing that, right? When you start managing partners that are in zone 1. And worse than zone 2 is zone 3. Zone 3 is when you're managing partners who are managing partners who are in zone 1, right? That's really bad because the money starts to go down a little bit more, right? It's not a good place to be. And the worst spot of all the zones is in zone 4. And some of you know what I'm talking about when you're managing partners who are managing partners who are managing partners who are managing partners who are in zone 1. You get the idea, right? But that's not where you want to be. There was a movie, I don't know if you've ever seen it. It was called Hitch, where the guy is trying to fall in love and the main character is trying to show him how to be cool, with the girls, and he starts dancing crazy, and he says, no, this is where your zone is, right? This is where your zone, and to us, at Aurum here, zone 1 is your sweet spot. This is where you want to be, in zone 1. Let's talk about it. There's only 3 components, so we're going to create a few simple actions that can be duplicated by a large group of people over a consistent period of time. So everything we're talking about has to be easily duplicatable by everybody. We don't want to leave anybody behind. We want to include everybody, no matter what their background, no matter how much money they have in the bank right now. It doesn't really matter. No matter what their education is, it doesn't really matter. What matters is, are they hungry, and can they follow a few simple actions? And so the 3 components to zone 1 is where all the money is expose. Another word for expose is introduce. Okay. Following up, when you follow up, and also helping new partners get started. So these are the 3 components. If you want to write it down and you want to memorize this, because it's not going to change, this is how we do it. All right. Expose, follow up, and get started. I'm going to break them down so that we'll get into the specifics. My recommendation is, on a consistent basis, is that we're exposing at least 2 people a day, not 10, not 20, not 1,000. We want to. Why is that? Because it's something that everybody can do. If we say, hey, expose 100 people a day, you might do it for a day and then you're going to quit, right? Because it's not duplicatable. You can't do it consistently over a long period of time. But if we say, hey, let's expose everybody, it doesn't matter how busy you are, It doesn't matter how many jobs you have just to pay the bills. None of that matters. Can you expose 2 new people a day, right? Find 2 new people a day that are not happy with their bank. What a great question. Are you happy with your bank, right? Who's going to say yes to that, right? If you're not happy with your bank, here, let me show you a video. Let's take a simple step, right? Who could do this? So if you're exposing more than 2 people a day, go ahead and do it, but don't tell everyone you're exposing 10 people a day. Just stick to the 2 a day, 2 a day, 2 a day, because everybody can expose 2 new people a day. It doesn't mean sell and convince. We're not looking for salespeople. It just means to expose, to introduce 2 new people a day, for example, that are not happy with their bank, regardless of their background, regardless. And so how can you expose people? Well, you can do it with videos. You can expose, and there's a lot of videos. You can go into your back office and click in the dashboard down onto materials. And then in the materials, you can see the videos, and there's a lot of videos that you could use. There's a lot of great recorded videos to introduce people to Aurum that's already done. You can join live Zooms, and there's a lot of live Zooms happening in many, many languages, and more coming, right? More coming that will, like I said, it's a live Zoom, and they can join the live Zoom so that the person who's presenting can introduce them to Aurum. There's the replays, all the replays that are available. There's the actual presentation PDFs that are available again in your materials section. So you could do a presentation yourself, just read the slides and go to the next slide. There's something called 3-way calls where you can introduce them, for example, to your sponsor who might know a little bit more or might be a little bit more advanced that can help introduce your guest. I'm giving you some examples here. There's Aurum Flow that we're going to show you. Hey, if you've got team members that are not on this call, they're not going to want to miss this. I'm going to show you a video about Aurum Flow coming up, and they're just not going to want to miss it, or you're going to try to explain it to them. But Aurum Flow is something I'm really, really fired up about because it's going to add AI and automation into our whole process of Zone 1. So Zone 1 is AI is going to grab Zone 1, and I'll introduce it to you in a second here. But whether you're on Telegram to expose people, or maybe WhatsApp exposures, or even Instagram exposures, Aurum Flow, well, I'll let the video explain it to you in a few minutes here, but I'm really, really excited. That's up and coming. So we're taking Zone 1 and we're going to add AI and automation to it. It's just going to put rocket fuel into your business. I'm really, really excited about that. And on the Zone 1 call, again, introducing you to helping people with the Aurum Flow product coming up. So that's the exposure part. Let's talk a little bit about the follow-up. Very important is that in follow-up, and you know who you are, if you've exposed someone, but you just never followed up, and I've always asked myself, why is it that people don't follow up? I mean, they take the effort to introduce someone to Aurum or introduce them, but they don't follow up. And I've studied this for many, many years, and I came up with a solution to it, in that, or an answer to the question why. And you know who you are. You know, you can put your hand up if you know that you have not followed up. You've introduced someone, but you haven't followed up, right? You put your hand up if you know that's you. Of course, many people, they just don't do it. And what is the reason? And the reason, I believe, is they've never been taught how. You know, they've never been taught how. So how they follow up is they say, hey, what do you think, right? And the person says, I think you're crazy, don't call me back, right? And they hang up. That's not a good way. And so there's a fear of following up. But what if following up was fun, right? What if we can make following up fun for everybody? Wouldn't that be kind of cool? The follow-up process, which is the second part of Zone 1. Expose, follow up, right? There's a third part, but follow up. Okay, how do we do that? Well, first of all, there's an exposure. Maybe you sent a video. Maybe they went on to a call. Maybe they went on to a live Zoom. Maybe they saw a replay. whatever it is, but there's an exposure before you follow up. You're not going to follow up with someone that has not been exposed, right? And so you're going to create some kind of a process where you're sending them to a live Zoom or inviting them to the live Zoom. And the first thing you're going to do when you follow up is you're just going to say, hey, were you on the call? Or did you watch the video? Or did you see the presentation, right? Whatever it is that you did. And they're either going to say yes or they're going to say no. If they say no, I did not, then you can end the call. There's no need now, because this is what happens, right? The person says, no, I didn't have time to take a small baby step and even watch the video that's going to show me how to change my life in a positive way. I didn't have time to do it. But now what tends to happen is the person goes into sales pitch and they start explaining the whole thing where it was explained professionally on the presentation. So if they say no, end the call and say, listen, I'll send you a link. When you get a chance to watch, I'll call you back in a day or whenever you're finished watching it, and let's have a conversation, right? And so if they say no, just end the call. If they say yes, then you're going to go into a couple questions. And you want to write this down. First question, say, hey, what did you like most? What did you like most about what you saw? What did you like most? Really, let them answer. Their answer is going to be their answer. They might say, oh, I like that Visa card. Oh, I like the XAI bot. No, I like the fact that the exchange is going to pay out 50% to the, they might say whatever, right? But that's their response. They like this, they like that. It gives you a little sense. The next question you want to ask them after they've answered, now you're going to say, hey, can you see an opportunity? Again, the answer to can you see an opportunity? There's only two answers. Yes, I can see an opportunity, right? And they usually smile. Oh, yeah, I can see an opportunity. Or they say, no, I can't see an opportunity. And again, if they can't see an opportunity, you can end the call. It's okay. We can go on to the next person. If they can't see it after they've been on a call, on a replay, on a professional, presentation, and they can't see the opportunity, then maybe you can just put them on your drip list and follow up. But there's no need to continue and sell. Well, didn't you see this? And what about? There's no need to try to sell or convince anybody. But if they say yes, they can see an opportunity. All right. The last thing that you're going to do here is just ask them if they'd like to get started. Very simple. That's it. That's how you follow up. Can you see an opportunity? They say yes. Would you like to get started? They might say, well, I would like to get started, but I'd like to get started next week. Beautiful. Or they might say, I'd like to get started right now. Beautiful. Now you're going to move into part 3, and that is how to get started, right? How do I get started with this massive, big business model? Again, we want to teach and we want to unify the global partner community together into helping people get started in a way that everybody can do, everybody can duplicate. Why? Because we want to get people into the ecosystem. We don't want to throw the whole ecosystem in their face first day. It's too much, right? It's such a massive, massive project that they don't have to understand the whole thing, but we do want to give them almost like a potato chip, right? You open up a bag of potato chips and you give the person one potato chip. And that's, oh, geez, they're good. Can I have another one? Okay, here's another potato chip, right? As opposed to opening up the bag and smashing it in their face, right? There's a difference. And so here's again, there's going to be 4 steps, very easy. You can write it down. This is not going to change. It's very simple, very easy. But our purpose is just to get someone started in the ecosystem and start the journey so that they can start learning about all the other components over time, right? Over time. It's okay, but we want them in the ecosystem. And like Brian Benson says, we've had long discussions, and he keeps reminding me, Shane, it's a big it's a massive ecosystem, which I understand, and he's saying that this is it's such a big project. It's the banking of the future, frictionless banking, but we want to take steps that no matter who we're talking to, that they say, I can do this, right? What's step number 1? Just register for free. Who could do this? There's no friction. There's no friction in a free registration. Okay, and you say, okay, so you want to get started? Okay, click here, register for free. Who can do this? Everybody. It's free to register. Okay, step two, what we want to do is once they've registered for free, we say now deposit a minimum of 100 USDT or USDC. There's a $19.99 annual platform fee, right? And you want to test the XAI bot. Let's get you started just doing a test, just testing, right? Maximum is 100,000 USDC or USDT. People are going to deposit what they're comfortable with, but the minimum is 100. But they can just do a test, right? Just a test, something that they're comfortable with to test the XAI bot. Who could do this? Step two, anybody. So now you're going to guide them and show them how they need USDC, USDT. You send it to their account, and the processes. It takes less than 5 minutes, and they're in the XAI bot. And when that happens, it's passive. It's 100% passive. So that's step number two. Step number three, as they're testing and as they're seeing the ROI coming in every day, ROI based on their deposit, and the amount is based on their deposit, then they can do their due diligence and start looking into the system to start looking at the different products and do their research. Look at the Visa, look at the exchange, look at the RWA. They can do all of that and look at all the different products, but now at least they're in the system. And again, Brian was saying once they come into the Aurum Foundation, this amazing ecosystem, they're never going to want to leave, because Aurum is we either have it now or we're developing more and more products that they're just going to love as we announce the RWA and all the different projects that are coming. And so once they're in, we want to make sure that Aurum Foundation is a place that they have everything they can ever want in terms of with crypto and to compound their crypto. So step three, and finally step four is teach others these 4 steps. That's it, right? That's the getting started part. All right. So we talked about the exposure. We talked about the follow-up, real easy and simple, and we talked about the getting started process. Those 3 things, if you're exposing, following up, and helping people get started, then you're in zone 1. One of the things I do recommend, if you're just getting started, if you're just brand new, in your first 7 days, right, when you just get started, it's not 2 a day, but you want to do in your first 7 days a major blast. You want to approach 40 to 50 exposures in your first week. Why? Because you want to generate some kind of a movement, some kind of momentum. Again, you don't have to go and sell or convince people, but you might want to send them to a video that explains Aurum and then get their feedback. And you got 40 to 50 people. That's going to generate it's success compression. That's going to happen. You're going to compress your success. Once you do that, you're going to be busy. All right, you're going to be busy following up, and then they're going to have people. And if everyone's doing in their first 7 days, a major blast, you're going to create a movement within your organization, and that's what you want. You want to create that movement within your organization, something easy and duplicatable that every single person can do. And so now we're into this is it. Again, if you haven't written this down, whatever language it's in, write this down. This is where you make money. Number one, or one of the top income earners in Aurum, you just got to watch. Success is not an accident. What I like to do is look at who's earning all the money and see what they're doing and take notes on what they're doing. And what I noticed is one of the top income earners. He's from Ireland, HP, and this guy is doing 5 presentations live every single week. 5 presentations. One is a getting started. Guess what he's doing? Helping people get started. And the 4 are exposure introductions. But during the day, he's doing 8 to 10 Zooms every single day. 8 to 10 Zooms. Why? Because people following up, and he's got Zooms going on, and people want to introduce new people. They want to ask questions. He's following up with them, answering their questions. So he's in the exposure, follow up, getting started like I've never seen before, and that is called super zone one, because if his lips are moving, he's in zone one, right? He's either exposing, following up, or helping people get started, and he's just doing that. That's why he's one of the top income earners in the world right now with Aurum Foundation. So with that, I want to show you something I'm really excited about here, and we're going to stop the share here for a second, and I want to show you something that's coming, right? It's not going to be long, but we're working on it in the background. Brian Benson is fired up and excited, and it's almost like incredible, like this synchronicity between the zone one concept that we're talking about every single week here, and we're going to share until, you know, what I want you to do is I want you to learn the concepts of zone one, learn it for yourself, then apply it as soon as you can. Apply zone one, apply and think zone one, think zone one. Why? Because that's where the money is, right? And I'm assuming you're on this call because you want to make the money, right? You want to make more money. You want to make more and more and more. And the most that you could make is if you stay in that sweet spot of zone one. But what Brian did, he had been working on some technology long before we knew each other. And I was working on the zone one concept long before I knew about Aurum. And not only I think it's not I think or maybe or what if, the zone one concept is a proven method of operation that will generate massive organizations on a global scale to those that are, you know, to the leaders that not only learn it and they're doing it, but they're encouraging their teams. Make sure you stay in zone one, everyone. Everyone stay in zone one, everyone, zone one, right? And so as we travel around the world, I know we're going to see people are doing this. It doesn't mean Aurum's number one, although we are going to be number one in AI finance. It means we are in zone one. We're a partner and we're in zone one here. And so with that, I want to give you a little sneak peek of something that's coming. It's called Aurum Flow, and I think you're really going to like this. All right, enjoy.
Every modern business is built on conversations, messages across WhatsApp, Instagram, and Telegram happening all day, every day. But when communication becomes manual, growth slows, responses get delayed, follow-ups fall through, and opportunities disappear in the noise. Demand isn't the problem. Scalability is. That's why we built Aurum Flow. Aurum Flow is Aurum's proprietary agentic AI system designed to grow, manage, and convert your community across WhatsApp, Telegram, and Instagram, all from a single command layer. Instead of juggling conversations across platforms, Aurum Flow uses AI agents to handle messages, answer questions, provide information, and automate replies instantly and consistently. Every interaction is captured, every prospect is organized, and every conversation is structured inside a simple visual CRM. Setup is fast and intuitive. Connect your messaging platform, define your flows, and Aurum Flow immediately begins organizing communication across your entire community. Messages move back and forth in real time. The system understands intent, it follows up automatically, and escalates to a human only when needed. Aurum Flow operates across languages, regions, and time zones, delivering consistent communication at a global scale without manual bottlenecks. By removing the manual layer, Aurum Flow turns everyday messaging into an intelligent, scalable engine for outreach, follow-ups, and closing. This is how communities scale without losing structure. This is how communication becomes growth. Aurum Flow is launching soon, built to integrate seamlessly and designed to grow with you. This is Aurum Flow.
All right. I hope you're excited about that. If you haven't already seen this, it's in the background. They're working on putting all the pieces together. Zone one here, we're going to be introducing you and introducing perhaps a beta coming up in this month. It'll be this month for sure. And then, I mean, this is going to be a tool that's going to put rocket fuel into your, into your whole network, into your whole business. And so I'm excited about that. I hope you're excited about Aurum Flow. Stay tuned. It's going to be very, very exciting times, exciting growth for Aurum. This is going to be your best year ever, whatever the most amount of money that you've ever made in 1 year, you might want to double it. And I believe that many. Why? Because our goal is simple. We want to create 1,000 new millionaires, and we're looking for 1,000 volunteers who are hungry and teachable, who are ready to take that journey. Right? 1,000 new million. It means if you're already a millionaire, and there are already Aurum millionaires, we're not talking about you guys. You've already made your millions, right? Of course, we are talking to the teams and everyone who has not yet made a million. We want you to join that. And so we're pretty excited about it. Looking forward to everything that's going on. There is a lot of incredible calls this week. Make sure you're subscribed to Telegram, the main channel in whatever language. We've got the VIP coming up on Wednesday, every Wednesday, with Ahmed Zen. And, Brian jumps on that call from time to time, but don't miss those updates because they're coming out with some incredible, timely updates you just don't want to miss. And on the channel, it'll give you a list of all the presentations. If you are a presenter and in a different language, make sure you communicate with support and let them know that you want to do perhaps a weekly introduction. We'll provide the slides. We'll provide the PDFs for you to present the income opportunity and the opportunity with Aurum. So if there's a language that you want to have on there, just let us know, and be glad that I think we've got right now in the back office, I believe it's about 37 languages, if I'm not mistaken, but we don't have 37 presenters for each language. Okay. And so with that, everyone, we'll see you right here next week on the Aurum Zone 1 call. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time right here on Aurum Zone 1. Bye.
Again, if you heard this video till here, you probably see that there's a great excitement going on. I'm Arif Gilany. Please get in touch with the person who sent you this video. If you like the training, make sure you ask how you can get started. And we're here on meetings, providing guidance, direction, and opportunities to those of you who like to join us. Thank you and have a wonderful day.